Recognize him without his mask.
Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us today for the 43rd meeting of the Board of Lake County Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. Jason Boyd, County Administrator, indicating we do not have anything electronic being submitted to the board, and do we have any takers in the audience? Nobody from the audience. Okay, moving on to our agenda items. Madam Clerk, first resolution, please.
In the Engineer's Office, resolution authorizing release of the maintenance surety for Villa Estates at Lake Erie Shores subdivision in Painesville Township.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations in Lake County Department of Utilities Solid Waste Operating Fund transfers out and transferring cash to the Solid Waste Closure Post-Closure Fund.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $632,709.14 to SET Incorporated for Som Center Road under I-90 Waterline Replacement Project 424W.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant November 20th, 2020, in the amount of $544,455.34.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Serino.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association non-deputized dispatcher sergeants and non-deputized dispatcher lieutenants expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Move to adopt. Second.
And discussion. We have our sheriff with us. We have Joel. Any of you gentlemen want to share with us what this next series of resolutions are regarding for the viewing audience?
Yes, we worked out in conjunction with the various unions in the County Commissioner's Office. We believe this is the best resolution to contracts. We have 8 bargaining units at the Lake County Sheriff's Office. We have about 220 employees in those various sections. This will stabilize, we believe, budgeting for the next 3 years and eliminates a lot of the contractual negotiations on other issues. We believe this is the best step moving forward. And all bargaining units have agreed in their voting, and I believe it's about 100% participation out of every bargaining unit in this proposal.
Great.
Excellent. No, this is truly an example of good faith, goodwill, and professionalism. We thank you and the bargaining units for all the effort that went into it. Thank you for being such good partners and getting through this under these difficult circumstances. We're truly impressed. So thank you. Appreciate the fidelity and efforts.
Thank you. Now the issue of the sheriff's salary is, no, I'm
Yeah,
just
take
kidding.
that up with the Ohio
The
legislature.
word benevolent does not come up here, I don't think.
But boom. All righty. Well, on that note, enter further discussion. Deep breath, John. Okay. Any further discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association non-deputized dispatchers expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt?
I believe that was a second, Commissioner Young.
I think it was.
Commissioner Young, just to confirm, that was a second?
Yes.
Thank you,
I
sir.
would like a moment of discussion, though.
Indeed, sir. Okay, discussion.
Actually, I'd like a moment of further reading. And I'd like the whole thing read. I think I missed a phrase as Jennifer was reading the resolution. Could she read it one more time, just for me?
Yes,
Well,
sir.
anyone else who'd like to hear it as well.
Sure, I'll reread. The resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association non-deputized dispatchers expiring March 31st, 2023.
Very good. Thank you.
Move to adopt again?
Second.
Yeah, there we go. We got it all locked in. Further discussion?
No.
All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Lake County Sheriff Employee Association deputized lieutenants and court lieutenants expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association deputized sergeants and court sergeants expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and Communications Workers of America, AFL-CIO Local 4340, cooks and clerks, expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt?
Move to adopt.
I'll second it.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Corrections Officers expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to
Move to
adopt?
adopt.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association non-commissioned corrections sergeants and lieutenants expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Sheriff's Department and the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporated, deputized deputy sheriffs, court officers, and court officer corporals expiring March 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing acceptance of a grant in the amount of $256,361 from the U.S. Department of Justice on behalf of the Lake County Crime Laboratory, effective October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2022.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of modification number 2 of the professional services agreement between Lake County Stormwater Department and EnviroScience for the Painesville Township Regional Detention Facility.
Move
Move to
to
adopt.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes. Are you aware? Yeah, are you aware of what this is for? This is a small matter that Painesville Township trustees asked us to investigate as part of this project. It required a modification of the agreement.
And the modification would be, as long as we're on that subject?
The modification, $70,000 for some additional study.
Gotcha. There you go. Viewing audience, yay. Okay, and with that, further discussion?
None.
None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,969,296.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $172,303.12.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution
Mr.
increase.
President,
Sir?
Mr. President, excuse me.
Yes, Commissioner.
There seems to be a good deal of feedback, at least on my end, when Jen is reading the resolutions. Is there anything real simple and instantaneous we could do right now? If not, I can catch 90% of it, but I hate to miss anything.
Stand
You
by.
have
I'll,
a printout here,
let me
but,
just yeah, I'll just reposition your microphone. Hang on.
So this is all Jen's fault, obviously.
Yes. Retraining is required.
I could say
Troublemaker.
about 3 or 4 things related to
I know
that.
you could.
Okay, let's.
Just read everything twice.
Yo, no. We'll have to call Kathy up for that.
We're almost finished anyway.
She's our whole thing person. Okay, Jennifer, let's try that.
Okay, how does this sound, Commissioner? Is it better?
That does sound better, actually. Thank you.
Okay. Resolution increasing in appropriations for a non-general fund account.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Let's see, utilities, did you want to dive in on anything, or are we good? No report, very good. Job and Family Services.
Yes, Commissioner, I just want to give you an update on our operations at Job and Family Services. Based on the COVID numbers really increasing and also what Governor DeWine had to say last evening, as you know, we have about 200 employees typically in the building. Since March, we've had most of those working remotely. I've slowly brought some employees back into the building, and currently we have about 35 in the building. However, as of tomorrow, about 16 of them will be going back to working remotely, so that we'll have 14 or 15 in the building that we really need to have there to continue operations. However, just to make it clear that all of our programs and services are still available as they have been since March remotely through contacting our employees through the internet and phones and so forth. So our social workers are still meeting their mandates and going out and investigating referrals regarding child abuse or neglect. Our public assistance eligibility workers are continuing to determine eligibility for those programs. And our child support enforcement caseworkers are still doing their job, including testifying at domestic relations or juvenile court when necessary. So I just wanted to give you an update that we are still closed to the public. However, in our lobby, we have drop-off boxes where if someone needs to drop off a hard copy of something, they can certainly drop it off there. And we check that box every hour to make sure that we're staying on top of those applications and other things that are being dropped off. Again, just wanted to give you an update on where we're at currently.
Mr. President.
Very good, sir.
Matt, a couple quick questions. Where do we stand? How many children are now under JFS's custody?
As of November
Roughly.
1st, about 82,
Okay.
which is about what we usually average.
And how is your monitoring going given the COVID situation here? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Monitoring the children
Yeah.
in our custody.
'Cause I know you do home visits and you do other
Exactly.
things, so.
Exactly. So we're mandated by rules and laws to make sure our social workers are meeting with children in our custody. The rule is at least once a month. Our rule is twice a month. So they are actually physically seeing those children twice a month. Now, the exception to that is if they're in a residential treatment facility, they may be seeing them virtually.
Right.
But we're still keeping track of and making sure that they're being receiving the treatment and services that they need. And obviously, we're also continuing to work with the birth parents to reunite those children with their birth parents. Other than that, our Kaylee home currently has 9 or 10 children. I don't know exactly. It might be 10. It might be 9, but I think it's 10 children that are residing at Kaylee home. Our employees at the Kaylee home have been working the whole time, obviously. We have 17 employees that work rotating shifts at the Kaylee home. They have been caring for those children. They have been their teachers when the school has to be provided virtually. And I'm glad you mentioned it because I wanted to commend specifically our Kaylee home employees because they've been there every day in a congregate care setting. We're doing the best we can to provide the personal protection that they need, both for the children and the employees that are working there.
And Matt, so if since we're about 8 months into COVID, roughly, when you have to place a child, remove them from their parents and place them, is it automatic that the child is tested or that the receiving family is tested if they're going to temporary custody?
No, Commissioner. If there's no indication that the child or the home is having any symptoms, now they're not tested. Maybe I misunderstood your question, but they're not tested for COVID. Any child that enters our custody within 24 hours, I believe 24 hours, very quickly after they enter our custody, has to receive a physical by a healthcare professional.
Okay.
So that child receives a physical. If the healthcare professional recommends that the child is tested for COVID, obviously we would do that. But as a matter of,
It's not automatic.
it's not automatic, no.
Okay. Okay.
And same thing with like foster parents.
Right.
We work closely with our foster parents. We've continued to provide them with PPE. We've provided that for them. Anything they need or have asked for, we've provided for them. But if they're not exhibiting, if no one in their family is exhibiting any symptoms, we're not mandating that they have a COVID test.
Okay. And just one last question, if I may, Mr.
Indeed.
President.
Oh, please.
I understand that you're not having walk-ins, during this time, but in terms of demand for other services, what are you seeing here?
A significant, and that's sort of an understatement, increase in the number of persons applying for Medicaid because they've lost their insurance, medical insurance through being laid off or losing their job. So significant increase in Medicaid applications and approvals, and also a significant increase in the number of food assistance applications that we're receiving. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, Commissioner, but I can get those to you if you'd like to compare. But I know for a fact that both of those programs in particular have had a significant increase in applications.
And all of the things being equal, how long would it take for somebody applying for Medicaid? Is that done through your office, or is
Yes.
it done through Columbus?
No, that
Okay, you're
applying for Medicaid is through
Through the
their local
county.
job and family
Okay,
services.
so how long does it take? Somebody loses their job and their benefits run out at the end of the month that they're
Mm-hmm.
laid off. How long would it take them to get a yes or a no answer?
Typically, about 45 days.
Okay.
Now, that's if the person applying provides the verifications that we need
Right.
in order to determine their eligibility during that time.
Yeah.
If we're still going back and forth asking for verifications, it could take longer. But what I want to make sure everyone understands is that if the person or the family is determined eligible for Medicaid, that eligibility is backdated to the date that they applied.
Right, right.
So if they apply today, but their eligibility is not determined until December 20th or something like that, I'm making that up, their eligibility would backdate to November 12th.
Right.
And any costs, medical costs they had during that time that were Medicaid eligible to be covered through Medicaid would be covered.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. President.
Very good. Okay, moving on to our county, thank you, sir. Moving on to our county administrator, Jason Boyd. No report today? Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that our next commissioners meeting is going to be next Thursday, November 19th at 10 a.m.
Very good. And legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to old business. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Moving on to new business. Do we have any new business? Commissioner.
Mr. President, just briefly, I know we've congratulated our Board of Elections here a couple of weeks already, but a couple of meetings, given some of the stuff that is being reported from around the country, I really want us to make sure that we appreciate the fine work that our Board of Election has done here in Lake County, given the large volumes compared to previous elections that they handled. Not only did they handle the logistics, I think, extremely well, but they also, with the large number of ballots being dropped off or mailed in, they seem to manage it without a hitch. And again, I personally am very grateful to the work that Ross and Jan have done as leadership down there, and the board and the Board of Elections have done to really make sure that Lake County has a very high standard of conducting its elections, and they met that standard or exceeded it this time around. And I also want to commend the Sheriff's Office for, besides dominating our agenda today with so many resolutions, you just want all that attention, don't you, Sheriff?
All good attention, by the way.
But all of those many agreements that we voted on this morning were the result of a lot of work and a lot of time on your part and members of your team and our HR team here and Administrator Boyd. So you're to be congratulated for that. It really does provide a lot of surety and consistency over the next 3 years, so that the commissioners in the future, starting next year, can move on and focus on other things. So congratulations, and thanks for all your work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Indeed, thank you. Commissioner Young, anything you wanted to add? Okay, moving on to our second public comment portion. Jason, do we have anything? Indicating none. All right, no one in the audience. Okay, this moves us on to, we have a request for executive session. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
You have to wear a tie to get a question in.
Evidently.
Turning your
But,
microphone on helps too. Jeez.
I don't have an ironing board anymore, so I can't iron my ties like a few people we know.
I see.
Anyways, I'd like to bring you up to date on the Madison Avenue project.
Oh, yes, thank you.
First, we have some good news and we have some bad news. The bad news is that we've sunk another 12 inches on the road.
12 inches?
Yeah, we need to get this thing moving. The good news is, on Tuesday, we delivered the final package of plans and specs to the state for their okay and give us permission to move forward with the advertising. We should hear that tomorrow. So I would encourage you, please, when we send you the resolution up, hopefully by Monday, or even yet tomorrow, that you put it on the agenda and not wait the 2 weeks, because we need to move this forward.
Sounds like an emergency.
Yes, it is an emergency. Thank you.
So as long as we're on that, so I'm assuming geotechnical, if they figured out where all this water's coming from?
Only God knows.
Oh, boy. Okay. The reason I ask that is if... The answer is no. Okay. But hopefully, though, with the engineering, there will be an evaluation so that the problem will be addressed and resolved. Okay. Very good. With that, there is a request for executive session. The subject matter will be personnel employment. There'll be no business conducted afterwards. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So I'll second that. Discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sereno.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Very good. Thank you for joining us today.